Hello, brothers and sisters, and welcome to another Temple 420 Bible study. So this is Temple 420 Bible Study Season 2, Episode 4. And we're going to go through, I put Episode 3 on the screen, but ignore that. It's Episode 4. We're going to go through Noah, the Parsha Noach, the reading of Noah.
Okay, cool. I'm excited.
We've got Garrett from Temple 420 Ministry and Victoria here with us today. And I'll start off here with a prayer for everybody. Thank you, Almighty God. Thank you for the blessings you give us. Thank you for us getting to come together in your word and read your word. May those who follow and attend be inspired, or follow this later, be inspired to follow after your word and learn it more. Thank you for giving us the word and the guidance, and help us do the things that are righteous in your path. Mm-hmm. Amen.
Amen. I found my Bible, just so you know.
Yeah, excellent. We're starting in Genesis 6:9, going to go through the story of Noah.
Okay. Genesis 6:9.
Yep. Remove my title. Add the Bible here. And Genesis 6:9. Here's the story of Noach. His generation. Noach was a man of righteousness and wholehearted. Noach walked with God. Noach fathered 3 sons, Shem, Ham, Japheth, and Japheth. The earth was corrupt before God, and the earth was filled with violence. God saw the earth, and yes, it was corrupt, for all living beings had corrupted in their ways on the earth. God said to Noah, "In the end, all living beings have come before me, for because of them, earth is filled with violence. I will destroy them along with the earth. Make for yourself an ark of gopher wood. You are to make the ark with rooms and cover it with pitch on both outside and inside. Here's how you are to build it. The length of the ark is to be 450 feet, and its width 75 feet, and its height 45 feet. You are to make an opening for the daylight in the ark, inches below its roof. Put a door on its side and build it with the lower and second and third decks. Then myself will bring the food of the water over the earth to destroy from heaven every living thing that breathes. Everything on earth will be destroyed, but I will establish my covenant with you. You will come into the ark, your sons and wife, and your sons with you. From everything living, from each kind of living being, you are to bring 2 into the ark, to keep them alive with you. You are to be male and female, of each kind, of each livestock, and of each animal creeping on the ground. 2 are to come with you, so that they can be kept alive. Also take all from the kinds of food that are eaten, and collect it for yourself, for it is to be food for you and for them." This is what Noach did. He did what God ordered him to do. So we've got the time here that humanity is corrupt, and Yahweh has grief and decides to destroy the earth.
Mm-hmm.
Noah was obedient and helped preserve the life here. I also found out, and I've seen it mentioned a couple times here too, that did you realize that Noah isn't a Jew even? But he's just another one that has a close relationship with Yahweh.
Wow. Was he considered Gentile then? I mean,
yeah, he wasn't set up to be like Jewish or anything like that. So he would have been essentially a Gentile. It was a Gentile,
wow.
Somebody who isn't Jewish.
That's pretty cool.
which similar to like Melchizedek, the priest too. That
Mhm.
he was also not Jewish, but he followed God and
Yeah.
with God with that there. And see here. And then we go on to Genesis 7. Would you like to read anything or should I continue?
Sure, I'll read. Um, where you said we're starting in 7?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Then the Lord said to, how far do you want me to read?
Well, 7 isn't too bad. So if you just want to read all 7 or stop whenever you feel like it.
Okay, cool. Then the Lord said to Noah, come into the ark, you with all your household, for you alone I have seen as righteous, doing what is right before me in this generation. Of every clean animal you shall take with you 7 pair, the male and his female, and of animals that are not clean, 2 each, the male and his female. Also of the birds of the air 7 pair, the male and the female, to keep the offspring alive on the surface of the earth. For in 7 days I am going to cause it to rain on the earth for 40 days and 40 nights, and I will destroy, blot out, wipe away every living thing that I have made from the surface of the earth. So Noah did all that the Lord commanded him. Noah was 600 years old when the flood of water came on the earth, covering all of the land. Then Noah and his sons and his wife and his sons' wives with him entered the ark to escape the flood waters. Of clean animals and animals that are not clean, and birds and fowls and everything that crawls on the ground, they came motivated by God into the ark with Noah 2 by 2, the male and the female, just as God had commanded Noah. And after the 7 days, God released the rain, and flood waters came on the earth. In the 600th year of Noah's life, on the 700th day of the second month, and on the same day, all the fountains of the great deep, sub subterranean waters, burst open, and the windows and floodgates of the heavens were opened. It rained on the earth for 40 days and 40 nights. On the very same day, Noah and Shem and Ham and what is that? What does that mean?
Yeah,
Japheth?
Butcher. Yeah, Butcher his name. Joseph. Just I
The
can't.
sons of, sorry, sorry about that. The sons of Noah and Noah's wife, and the 3 wives of his sons with them entered the ark. They and every animal according to its kind, all the livestock according to their kind, and every moving thing that crawls on the earth according to its kind, and every bird according to its kind, every winged thing of every sort. So they went into the ark with Noah 2 by 2, of all living beings in which there was the breath and spirit of life. Those who entered, male and female, of all flesh creatures, entered as God had commanded Noah, and the Lord closed the door behind him. The flood was 40 days and nights on the earth, and the waters increased and lifted up the ark, and it floated high above the land. The waters became mighty and increased greatly on the earth, and the ark flooded on the surface of the waters. The waters prevailed so greatly and were so mighty and so overwhelming on the earth, so that all the high mountains everywhere under the heavens were covered. In fact, the waters became 15 cubits higher than the highest ground, and the mountains were covered. All living beings that moved on the earth perished: birds, cattle, domestic animals, wild animals, all things that swam and crawl on the earth, and all mankind. Everything on the dry land, all all in whose nostrils was the breath and spirit of life, died. God destroyed, blotted out, wiped away every living thing that was on the surface of the earth, man and animal, and the crawling things, and the birds of the heavens were destroyed from the land. Only Noah and those who were with him in the ark remained alive. The waters covered all of the earth for 150 days, 5 months.
It's interesting yours marked how many cubits it was, even in the amp there. And the complete Jewish Bible says that it was 22 and a half feet, in case people don't know what cubits are.
Oh, okay.
22 and a half feet over the tallest mountain there.
Yeah, so it's like.
I find it really interesting too that the ark was made so that God had to shut it and ended up shutting it in 716 as well.
Yeah.
And then the thing that I didn't really notice until reading it recently and just looking at it here too. Did you notice in 7:2 that he actually takes 7 couples of all the clean animals, and then the unclean animals he took 2 of each?
I noticed that too. And like, it's not like what people think, where it's only a pair of each. It was literally 7 clean and unclean.
Right. Yep.
Right? Was it 7 pairs? Or just, I mean, because it said male and female, so wouldn't that have been 7 pairs?
Yep. 7 couples, and then
Yeah.
one just couple of the unclean ones.
Mm-hmm. It makes me wonder, like, did they take the unclean because they're like the filter of the earth? So I mean, I guess they do have a purpose.
Right. Yep. Everything's kind of got its purpose and set up there too. So really set up there. And see here.
What chapter are we in? What book?
We are actually in Genesis 7, going to Genesis 8 here in a moment. Seeing if there's anything else in 7 that I see interesting here. An interesting remark that says 1 Peter 3:20 and 20 through 21 claims that the flood is a picture of the baptism and salvation through water, which is an interesting take on it. I would think you'd almost need to get wet for it to equivalent with the baptism, but they definitely got saved through helping the water. So
where is that at?
it's 1 Peter 3:20 through 21.
How about why it was so high and why they flooded so much?
What's that?
I feel like it's because back then they had the Nephilim, and the Nephilim were actually tall people, and they actually had to go up higher, and that guy was trying to kill everything off. You know what I mean? That's when the Nephilim were in this world.
Yeah, good point.
I learned yesterday a weird thing that the Jews actually believe that there was one Nephilim that actually caught a ride on the ark too.
Caught a ride?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it said something weird about like he brought unicorns, and the Noah felt sympathy for him, so he ended up like adding a tow rope, and then he held on to the tow rope and got dragged on until the 50 days, which sounds pretty intense. I don't know.
Hey, okay.
Where are we at in Peter? Where was that Peter one again?
1 Peter 3:20 through 21. Let's see here exactly how that relates here. 1 Peter 3:20, to those who were disobedient long ago, in the days of Noach, when God waited patiently for the building of the ark, in which a few people, to be specific, 8, were delivered by the means of water. This prefigures what delivers us now, the water of immersion, which is not the removal of dirt from the body, but one's pledge to keep a good conscience towards God through the resurrection of Yeshua, the Messiah.
That's what yours says?
Interesting connection, yes. And then to Genesis 8. Would you like to read Genesis 8, Garrett?
I'm really in the middle of rolling this blunt real quick, but yeah, I could the whole chapter, or what do you want me to read?
Well, yeah, the whole chapter is good. It's not too big.
All right. It said, for chapter 8, it says, "But God remembered Noah and all the wild animals and the livestock that were there with him, and the ark, and he set a wind over the earth, and the waters receded. Now the springs of the deep and the floodgates of the heaven have been closed, and the rain had stopped falling from the sky. The water receded steadily from the earth, and at the end of 150 days the water had gone. And on the 17th day and in the 7th month, the ark came to the rest of the mountains of Ararat. And the waters continued to recede until the 10th month. And on the first day of the 10th month, the top of the mountains became visible." So they were up there for a little bit of time. Can you imagine being there 10 months and then next you know, you only see the top of the mountains? That'd be kind of suck. Because after 40 days, Noah opened a window he had made in the ark and sent out a raven. And it kept flying back and forth until the water had dried up from the earth. Then he sent out a dove to see if the water had receded from the surface of the ground. But the dove could not find nowhere to perch because there was water all over the surface of the earth. So it returned to Noah in the ark. He reached out his hand and took the dove and brought it back to himself in the ark. He waited 7 more days and again sent out a dove from the ark. When the dove returned to him in the evening, there was bleak and was a fresh plucked olive leaf. Then Noah knew that the water had receded from the earth. He waited 7 more days and sent out the dove out again, but this time it hadn't returned to him. By the first day of the 1st month of Noah's 601st year, and water had dried up from the earth, Noah then removed the covering from the ark and saw the surface of the ground was dry. By the 27th day of the 2nd month, the earth was completely dry. Then God said to Noah, "Come out of the ark, you and your wife and your sons and their wives. Bring out every kind of living creature that is with you, the birds, the animals, and the creatures that move along the ground, so they can multiply on the earth and be fruitful and increase in numbers on it." So Noah came out together with his sons and his wife and his wives, all the animals, all the creatures that move along the ground, and the birds, everything that moves on the land came out of the ark, one kind after another. But Noah built an altar on, to the Lord, and taking some of the clean animals and clean birds, he sacrificed the burnt offerings on it. Now, when you think that made them extinct, some of the ones that he grabbed instead of the ones, I'm
I don't
kind
know if
of
they're clean. He's got 7 couples of them, so he's got a few that he can sacrifice.
all right. I was curious about that real quick.
Yeah.
And then the Lord smelled the pleasing aroma and said in his heart, "Never again will I curse the ground because of humans. Even though every inclination of human heart is evil from childhood, and never again will I destroy all living creatures as I have done. Long as the earth endures, seed time and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night will never cease."
I always take that 8:22 to say that global warming is false because it's sowing time, harvest, cold and heat, in summer and winter will and day and night will not cease. So we're not going to have some kind of stuck in the cold or stuck in the heat because he said so.
He says so.
Yeah,
Amen to that one.
I definitely agree with that one here.
Man, what's that?
Go on here to Genesis 9. God blessed Noah and his sons and said to them, "Be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth. The fear and dread of you will be upon every wild animal, every bird in the air, every creature in populating the ground, and all the fish in the sea. They have been handed over to you." So up until now, the animals apparently weren't scared of us here. Every every moving thing that lives will be food, just as I gave you green plants before. So now I give you everything. Which also points out we can eat everything. Only flesh with its life, which is the blood, you are not to eat. I will certainly demand an accounting for the blood of your lives, and I will demand it from every animal, from every human being. I will demand from every being an accounting of the life in his of his fellow for the life of his fellow human being. You guys stop it. Crazy cat fights in here. Get out of here. No. And then also with the demanding the counting of the blood for lives, that's a callback there to Jesus Christ too, that we need blood to redeem ourselves here. In Genesis 9:6, whoever sheds human blood, by a human being will be his own blood shed. For God made human beings in his image, and you people be fruitful, multiply, and swarm on the earth and multiply it. God spoke to Noach and his sons with him. He said, as for me, I am here with establishing my covenant with you, you with your descendants after you, and with every living creature that is with you, the birds and the livestock and every wild animal with you, all going out of the ark, every animal on earth. I will establish my covenant with you that never again will all living beings be destroyed by the waters of the flood, and there will never again be a flood to destroy the earth. God added, here is a sign of the covenant I am making between myself and you and every living creature with you for all generations to come. I am putting a rainbow in the cloud, and it'll be a sign of the covenant between myself and earth. Whenever I bring the clouds over earth and the rainbow is seen in the cloud, I will remember my covenant, which is between myself and you and every living creature of any kind. And the water will never again become a flood to destroy all living beings. And the rainbow will be in the cloud, so that when I look at it, I will remember the everlasting covenant between God and every living creature of every kind on earth. God said to Noah, this is the sign of the covenant that I have established between myself and every living creature on earth. Noah's descendants. The sons of Noah went from out of the ark was Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Ham was the father of Canaan. These three were the sons of Noah, and the whole earth was populated by them. Noach, a farmer, was the first to plant a vineyard. He drank so much of the wine that he got drunk and laid uncovered in his tent. Ham, the father of Canaan, saw his father shamefully exposed and went out and told his two brothers. Shem and Japheth took a cloak and put it over their shoulders, and walking backwards, they went in and covered their naked father. Their faces were turned away so that they did not see their father lying there shamefully exposed. When Noach woke from his wine, he knew that his youngest son had done to him, and said, cursed be Canaan, for he will be the servant of the servants of his brothers. And then he said, blessed be Adonai, the God of Shem. Canaan will be their servant. May God enlarge Japheth. He will live in the tents of Shem, but Canaan will be their servant. After the flood, Noah lived 350 years. In all, Noach lived 950 years and then died. See, interesting here too. It refers back to the rainbow, and as somebody pointed out, the rainbow is kind of a reminder when we got so fleshly sinful that God almost destroyed everybody on earth. And here Yahweh also commands us to be fruitful and multiply, or it's to his sons there. And says this covenant applies to all living creatures, showing that Yahweh's mercy is universal. It also notes too that Noah's fall, which is drunkenness, shows imperfection even after his being saved in salvation, which is a pattern of grace covering sin, because we're always falling into our own sin, and God gives us grace to get out of it here. Let's see here. Anything else good in this one? Sounds good there. Let's go to Genesis 10, and then this one goes into 11. New tablets of stone. I jump one. There we go. Genesis 10 is the nations descended from Noah. Here's the genealogy of the sons of Noah. Shem, Ham, Yafet were the sons born to him after the flood. And the sons of Yafet were Goma, Magog, Madai, Yaram, Tubal, Meshkes, and Tretaz. The sons of Gomar were Ashkenaz, Raphat, and Togarmah. The sons of Yavin were Elazah, Tarshish, Kittim, and Dovarim. From these islands of the nations were divided into their lands, each according to its language, according to their families and their nations. The sons of Ham were Cush, Mizraim, Put, and Canaan. The sons of Cush were Isbah, Havilah, Sabata, Ramaka, Sabakta. The sons of Ramah were Shiva and Dedan. Cush fathered Nimrod, who was the first powerful ruler on earth. He was a mighty hunter before Adonai. This is why people say, like Nimrod, a mighty hunter before Adonai. His kingdom began with Babel, Iraq, Akkad, and Kalana in the land of Shinar. Azur went out from the land and built Nineveh, the city of Rehovot, Kelas, and risen between Nineveh and Kelach. That one is the great city. Mazam fathered Lulam, and the Alam, and the Lahabam, and the Nashufim. The Patrashulam and the Karochim, who came from Phashizim and Kaphorim. Kenah fathered Tisdon, his firstborn Hizet, or Het, the Yusavai and Emoroi, the Gudashi, the Hivi, the Archi, the Sinai, the Abadi, the Tamazi, and the Hamatai. Afterwards, the families of Kenai were dispersed. The border of Kenai was from Tisdon as you go through Gawar and Azrah, as you go towards Sodom, Amorah, Amaroth, and Tisborim to Elisha. These were the descendants of Ham, according to their families and their languages, in the lands of their nations. Children were also born to Shem, the ancestor of the descendants of every ever older brother of Yifut. The sons of Shem were Elam, Ashur, Akampakshad, Lud, and Aram. The sons of Aram were Yutz, Hol, Geter, and Mash. Apashad fathered Shelach, and Shelach fathered Eber. To Eber were born two sons, one given the name Peleg, which means division, because during his lifetime the earth was divided, and his brother's name was Yoktan. Yoktan fathered Abomodad, Sheleph, Hazatamaret, Yerek, Hadoram, Uzal, Delika, Oval, Abenemel, Sheba, Ophir, Havanah, and Yovav. All these were the sons of Yoktan. Their territory stretched from the Mezah as you go toward Sephar to the mountain of the east. These were the descendants of Shem, according to their families and languages, in the lands and the nations. They were families of the sons of Noach, according to their generations, and their nation from the nations of the earth were divided up after the flood. Then after that generational stuff here, we'll just go to 11. I think this is 11, 1 through 9 here. Just a quick story about Babylon. The whole earth used the same language and the same words, and it came about that they traveled from the east. They found a plain of the land of Shinar and lived there. And they said to one another, "Come and let's make bricks and bake them in the fire." So they had great bricks of building stone and clay for mortar. They said, "Come on, let's build ourselves a city with a tower that has a top reaching into heaven, so they can make a name for ourselves and not be scattered all over the earth." Adonai came down to see the city and the tower the people were building. Adonai said, "Look, the people are united. They have a single language, and see what they are starting to do. At this rate, nothing they can set out to accomplish will be impossible for them. Come, let's go down and confuse their language so they won't understand each other's speech." So from there, Adonai scattered them all over the earth, and they stopped building the city. For this reason, it is called Babel, confusion, because there Adonai confused the language of the whole earth, and from there Adonai scattered them all over the earth. So humanity was in rebellion. They were trying to make a name for themselves, build a tower up into heaven. So I always found interesting that God was worried about that and was like, hey, they can accomplish anything if they're like this. It makes me wonder what's going to go on here now that we have even like the Babel tool that can change different languages to our current language. Wondering what we're putting on here. What's that here? And it notes here too that Yahweh confuses the language, scattering leads to diversity and fulfillment of his fill to the earth. And one I didn't notice here that it pulls out as an insight is Babel is confusion, which in contrast, the Pentecost in Acts 2 reverses and changes this because the Holy Spirit unites all the languages in praise. Let's see here. And then man's pride tries to reach heaven on his own, through salvation and works of frames, but Yahweh's power is descendant, and heaven comes only through Yeshua, which is the word made flesh for Jesus Christ. I think it also pulls to a good point here too, that it does speak that the days of the end will be like the days of Noah, and that will return back to be here too and have similar things. I don't see any other insight that I would have on this one. It relates Isaiah 54:10. For the mountains may depart and the hills will be removed, but the kindness shall not depart from you, nor shall my covenant of peace be removed, says Yahweh. So this was where he definitely set up that covenant and is going to have a covenant with us for peace forever. This was kind of a short one, but I think that is good and closes up Noah here for you. Yeah, so thank you all for who's attended, and thank you for the blessings God's given us here. I'll give us out here with a prayer. Dear Almighty Yahweh, thank you for the blessings you give us. Thank you for helping us come together in your word and learn new things. Help those who are suffering in pain find comfort to their pain, and help people who are seeking you have their eyes opened and they find you. Thank you for the grace you give us and the promises to never take us out here again, and the control you show us that you have all over the earth, and that you are the one who we can get refuge in, to your Christ, through your Son, Jesus Christ, rather than to the works of men. Amen. Thanks for everybody who attended today and the follow up on this and watch it later. May you be blessed in the word. You can go to temple420.org, find our information, or renownedplantation.org, which is my church and does this ministry. You can find their links to our Facebook where we post, and these are always welcome up to join. We also partnered with uponthisrock.church, and they will help you connect with food. If you need connection to food, you can sign up there, and we'll help you find food and get in connection with food. They also have a fuel program too, where they can fuel your walk with God. You can donate some to their church, and they will help you get information out here. We also had visiting Garrett from the I Am Foundation. He also runs a cannabis ministry over in Colorado and is working on getting those to all the other states. I will post some content links down below on how to follow his information and with that, I think that really covers everything. And thank you all for your attendance, and God bless.